Hello indie game fans, I saw a request to cover real-time strategy games in the comments, so here's a look at upcoming titles, where I myself have a soft spot and some history with this genre. Of course, many of these titles will be paying tribute to the big four, Age of Empires, StarCraft, Warcraft and Command & Conquer, with new ideas from games like They Are Billions included as well. Let's begin with Retro Commander, a game that looks very much like CNC, having conventional weapons like tanks, airships, submarines and stealth bombers, but does have some slightly more advanced technology like portals as well. Curiously, this developer describes it as a 4X post-apocalypse RTS, which is very weird since 4X games are pretty distinct, and it does also have an interesting business model where the base game and one map is free and all other maps are paid, so let's see how it works out. A great looking low poly entry is Siege Up, one that looks very much like classic Age of Empires in terms of mechanics and the medieval setting, even having a food limit counter shown in the UI. There's city building and resource gathering with villager units, and seems to be able to support quite a large number of units on screen. So while it is a little derivative, it is still of interest to me. If you're a fan of Warcraft 3, Warchief might be a title of interest, set in a very similar high fantasy world with humans, undead, orcs, dwarves and more, and even has hero units in play. However, what's interesting is the deck building-like interface at the bottom of the screen, looking a little similar to Clash Royale for better or worse. It is also a free-to-play title and looks to have streamlined the base building aspect, but it does look good, so do keep an eye out. One of the amazing things about modern technology in games is the sheer number of units that can be put on screen, as seen in titles like They Are Billions, The Rift Breaker, or even the recently released Age of Darkness Final Stand, where another such title is Diplomacy is Not an Option, one with a low poly look but is not a chill city builder. Rather, you are surrounded on all sides by enemies, while having to make decisions on the day-to-day operation of your city in a manner similar to Yes, Your Grace. It is focused more on the defense aspect rather than going on the offense, where things like archers and towers do have blind spots as well, and I do hope that the level of simulation in this is great. A title that looks promising but may be falling apart at the seams is Alien Marauder, a They Are Billions style survival city builder set on an alien planet. Similar to the Rift Breaker released last week, this has you building bases on alien planets to extract resources, but does appear to be streamlined on the factory building aspect, looking to be more focused on turrets and walls. This of course draws the attention of the native aliens, which will attack in swarms, where the trailer footage does show significant frame drops when a large number of units are on screen. The developers say that this game can support 10,000 units in combat and 100,000 overall, so if they manage to optimize this, could be something to marvel at.
It is the 24th century. Adventurers explore the galaxy in search of worlds to conquer. In this week's episode, upon discovering a new planetary system, 3 adventurers scramble to claim the riches for themselves. Dolores, Kyle, Tactical Galactical.
Another good-looking sci-fi entry is Tactical Galactical, one that takes place on a hexagonal grid but is an RTS, which makes it quite an interesting blending of ideas. They're supposed to have a wacky Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic and vibe with some decent art, but I'll go back to talk about the gameplay since this seems to include some card elements as well, looking well made and is another title to watch.
In every age, there is a cause worth fighting for. But in the future, the greatest threat to our survival will not be men at all. Now the youth of tomorrow must face an enemy more devastating than any ever imagined.
Go, go, go! Move!
Troopers, with me!
Slytherin takes you to the front lines of the next frontier.
Alright, personally I'm pretty interested in this, but do have to put an asterisk on it, since Starship Troopers Terran Command is based on a cult classic movie franchise, Starship Troopers, going back to 1997. I do have a fondness for this, since I remember watching the movie and the animated series, where the political satire of the military machine is highlighted in spades as the people in charge endlessly try to recruit young people to fight against an alien threat known as the Arachnids. The record of games in this franchise has not been great, but this title does look to be a promising upcoming one, at least based on demo impressions, and should be of interest to fans of the genre. For as much as I love pixel art, I don't really enjoy looking at voxels, the so-called 3D equivalent of pixel art, still preferring these in 2D, but I have to say, Hearts of Muriat did impress me with its visuals. This is a fantasy RTS where you're building a base, gathering resources, researching upgrades, and training your troops to go and destroy your enemies. Like many other modern titles in the space, the emphasis seems to be on allowing you to command massive armies, looking to be much better executed here than some of the earlier examples. Additionally, this game is focused on the macro and the strategy of battle rather than micromanaging units and their abilities, making it look like a game for me.
We are the Crusade, eternal and unyielding. Our coming is inevitable.
I have to give a very special mention to Liquidation, a sci-fi RTS that has to be inspired by StarCraft and Warhammer 40k, having covered its Kickstarter campaign a little while back, and is a title that I'm keeping an eye on.
And impure. We are the twilight that
I think that it looks fantastic, especially the designs of the mechanical scorpions and the tentacled alien monsters, and the stinger right at the end of this trailer made me smile, taking the #1 spot. For more upcoming indie games, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.
this world will be cleansed.